Hello, everybody, and welcome along to a rather damp and overcast Mid-Ohio sports car course. I'm John Hindhaugh, Shea Adam in the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre with me. They breed them tough around here. They're big sports car fans, and they have come out despite the weather this Sunday. We've got a big 4-hour race coming up later on. But first of all, a little aperitif, a bit of a starter portion for you of what we might expect later on. It had it all yesterday in the 45-minute first race here for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup. This course might have been designed for Mazda racing. These cars can get 3 and 4 wide where most have to go through single file. It's been around for well over 50 years, so somebody must have known that the Mazda Miata was going to be built at some stage in the future. Across the start-finish line, actually the finish line, because we start beyond the keyhole and through the kink, heading down towards turn 4, although the 45 minutes will start at the finish line. Are you keeping up? Then through over the top of Madness and the S's and round into Thunder Valley. A lot of off-camber places here, which is going to be a little bit difficult in the wet conditions. Everyone on the Michelin wet weather tyres, and an absolutely great scene to see that we have, I think, all 32 cars sitting in echelon style. With their tails to the wall, ready to go. Shea Adam, have we got the full complement of 32?
We have the full complement, although we almost lost one car just now before the start. When they fired the engines, one of the mechanics for BSI Racing was lying on the ground, looking under the left front of Ethan Tyler's car. Now, the number 80 machine yesterday ended its race after only 5 circuits of the track here because it went off in the tires hard in the left-hand side at the final turn. It was actually in turn 12 that he wound up parked up against the barriers. But the good news is the BSI mechanic gave a thumbs up, and Ethan Tyler has just rolled out behind the safety car.
Let's take a quick look at the rundown then with 16 rows of 2. Here's your Mazda starting grid here at the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. And we'll start on row 16 on the outside. Ashland Speed for Hendricks Motorsport has BSI Racing's Damon Hockey behind Damon Hockey alongside in the 09 car. Then it's Steve Webber, one of the squadron of rookies that we have in the championship this year for JTR. BSI, Farhan Siddiqui with the repaired Lightning McQueen number 95 car. He had issues yesterday. He'll start in 29th. On row number 14, JTR Motorsports, Peter Atwater will be looking to move forward in the number 26 car. He's got Christian Hodenland for BSI alongside him. Then on the 13th row, it's Maite Gutierrez for Rafa Racing Team by MMR, and it's Cody Powell for JTR, numbers 12 and 6 on row 13. On the 12th row, another BSI Racing driver, Ethan Tyler, in the number 80 car, Heather Hadley, another Hendricks driver in the 54 alongside. Onto row number 11 on the outside, Winnie Hyman for JTR, and a JTR Motorsports engineering teammate, Sally Mott, alongside in the number 15. Jesse Love, rookie, in the 20th position for BSI. AAG Racing's Christopher Haldeman is alongside in the 28. Bryce Cornet for Spark Performance on the outside of row 9 in his number 65 car with Noah Harmon for AAG, another one of our rookies in 17th position. Bobby Gossett is in 16th position with Grant West in 15th. They make up the 8th row. On the 7th, Alex Bashira for Spark Performance has a McCumbee McAleer racing driver, Justin Adaconis, alongside him to start the race in the number 23 car. Ethan Goulart is next up, another rookie, Saito Motorsport Group on the outside of row 6 with Weston Workman. He didn't have the race he wanted yesterday either. He'll be looking for redemption today. Some big names at the bottom end of the top 10. No bigger than Tyler Gonzalez for BSI Racing. He'll race that 57 car to the front, I'm sure. Parker DeLong for PDR, Parker DeLong Racing alongside him. Top 4 rows, Nate Cicero and Jared Thomas as we go green, but we will stay under yellow, if that makes sense. The timing has started, but we are not racing. So those two then making up the 4th row of the grid. The top 3 rows of the grid, Elio Mesa, not the best rookie, although in 6th position for BSI Racing, and he had a cracking race, finished on the overall podium yesterday. He's got Jeremy Fletcher There's a rookie and an experienced driver in position 6 and 5. Glenn McGee on the outside of row number 4 with Vaughn Mishko, the best of the rookies, in 3rd position for advanced. And the top 2 are Advanced Autosports, Nathan Nicholson and Gresham Wagner for Rafa Racing Team by MMR. Coming to the green flag, Shea Adam will start. Oh, actually, no, we're going to have another lap behind the safety car because of the weather conditions. Just bring us up to date on the championship after yesterday's results.
It's Tyler Gonzalez leading the way once again. First time for him since the race at Daytona, the first race of the season that he found victory. 1,820 points gives him a 60-point advantage over yesterday's race winner. That would be Jeremy Fletcher. Jeremy with a really good result, bumping himself well up in the points. Nathan Nicholson remains 3rd. He is 10 points behind Fletcher. And then Jared Thomas, after yesterday's schmozzle going into China Beach, where he actually did wind up in China Beach, he drops all the way down to 4th in points on 1,690. So he now has quite a gap to try and catch back up to Gonzalez. Noah Harmon, best of the rookies, is 5th, and he has an advantage over now Elio Meza as the second, Justin Adakonis is the second best rookie of 230 points. So a very big cushion between our rookies. Believe it or not, with the track conditions as they are now, they just keep getting better. The track is drying. It doesn't look like it on the pictures because you still see a lot of shininess on the black pavement, but compared to where we were first thing this morning, we had puddles, i.e. small lakes, at 4 different parts of the circuit, a river running across at one point, and I'm pretty sure I saw a guy in the infield building a rather large ship. So it is getting better and better, and the conditions for the race are actually not as wet as Woody Hyman was hoping they were going to be. He wanted a steady drizzle. It looks like the drizzle's passed, and it's only going to get better.
The safety car has pulled into the pit lane and will form up side by side. Now, if we get the safety car again, we will go single file across the finish line, which will become our restart line. But as we have not yet started the race, we will try the side-by-side start. So Gresham Wagner and Nathan Nicholson take up the role of dual safety car, if you will, although Gresham Wagner with his earned pole position, for which he will take some points to his championship total. He effectively now is controlling the field of cars. He is the lighter coloured car, the white and red car. The yellow highlighter coloured car, mostly highlighter coloured car, is Nathan Nicholson. He is in 2nd place. Vaughn Mishko, best of the rookies, teammate to Nathan Nicholson, but I've got to stress that everybody races for themselves here. There's no team orders. Great 2x2 start, and at the drop of the green flag, at the D of drop of the green flag, off goes Gresham Wagner. Now, we often see a little bit of catamounts early on in these races. I suspect with these conditions, we will see people trying to make a break early. It's still 3 wide into turn 4, which is our effective first corner for the start here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. If you're just joining us, welcome along to Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by Michelin. Everyone on the superb Michelin wet weather tyres. They shift more than a bath load of water from each wheel in under a second. They are impressive. Already got a car facing the wrong direction early on, and that is just coming through to the top of the hill, and that's Bryce Cornet, the number 26 car, off as they came through the green for the first time. It hasn't affected Gresham Wagner, who is trying to hold out at the front of the field. I was about to say, has Nicholson gone through? No, he hasn't, but Gresham Wagner here, as I mentioned, I think people will try and break away today, because you never know when the end of the race is coming when you've got conditions like this.
It was a great start from Glenn McGee, who was 4th at the green flag and 2nd by the exit of turn 4, but the Rainmaster is back. Tyler Gonzalez dominated our race at Barber Motorsports Park when it was wet, a lot wetter than it is right now. He's already up to 2nd. He's brought Elio Meza with him. Elio back up to 4th, but Tyler Gonzalez is looking at the back of Gresham Wagner, who hasn't run in a proper rain race so far this year, as there's a bit of contact further back. That is the exit of turn 1. One of the cars involved is Sally Mott, the other is Maite Caceres, so that's not good. Those two cars were nowhere near each other at the start of the race. Peter Atwater just coming through and going off the circuit to try and get by, with Bryce Cornet making up positions. But that was a bit of a messy moment for a bunch of cars. Now, 3 cars went wide over the curbs, but those weren't the ones involved. It looked like Sally spun on her own. Cody Powell spun in front of Maite, and Maite hitting the back of Powell, couldn't avoid him. So actually a really well done job by everyone else to not make it a much bigger incident than it was.
2 separate incidents at the exit of the first corner. We stayed green for a little while, but when it became obvious that both of those cars were not going to get going, I think Sally did get moving again, but I'm fairly certain we've still got a car stranded on the outside of that first corner. So we will see the Whelen Mazda safety car back out again. Now, how do you feel if you're the leader right now? Probably not too bad. Yes, you are going to have to do another race. Oh no, it's debris. Both cars got moving again. Well done to both of the drivers involved, and so this might be a very quick safety car, as we've already got one of the safety trucks coming through the exit of turn 1 and into the pit lane for Cody Powell, who was one of the cars involved. That's the light blue front with the darker sides. Cody then in the number 6 is in the pit lane. They'll have a quick look. He's not really losing very much at the moment. They can have a look around that car, and if it's okay, they can send him. Tyler Gonzalez up to second, as Shea reported. So it's Gresham Wagner from Gonzalez, from Elio Mesa, star of yesterday. And what happened to our top rookie? Dropped way back. Vaughn Mishko, who started in the top 2 rows, is down to 18th. So he must have had some drama as well. Cody Powell is rolling again, and we're hearing that Bryce Cornet had an incident as well. That was early on, wasn't it, when he was off on the grass, and there was another car involved. That is under review. Now, normally I would tell you who the car was, but race control are looking at that first of all to determine what happened in the incident, and share the other thing they have to work out is who it was who was involved. As another car comes into the pits, and this is Maite Caceres for the Rafa Racing team. That was the second of the cars that was involved in that turn 1 incident.
I think it was Peter Atwater who was involved with Bryce Cornet earlier on, because he had gone off the track and recovered, but Bryce was the one who went for the spin. Now, the good news is that yesterday Bryce Cornet was the recipient of the Penske Shocking Performance Award because he passed more cars than anyone else over the course of the race. He's in pretty good standing to try and replicate that again today. You asked how Gresham Wagner would feel at the lead of this race. I would say Gresham would feel very happy being out front, with the exception of knowing it's Tyler Gonzalez behind him.
Yeah. Agreed. That's a very good point. At the moment, he's neither gaining nor losing any ground. The countdown is down to 36 minutes, so there's still a lot of racing here for Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, as we are effectively here, Shea, moving into the second half of the season. And you were saying that despite the spray that's been thrown up here, our leader there went offline on the finishing straight, as if he's trying to find the wetter part of the circuit and keep his Michelin wet weather tyres cool. And that is heads up thinking from Gresham Wagner. Don't wait until you've burned your tyres off. Make sure you're looking after them right now.
Yeah, there's no rain actively falling from the sky. The only precipitation that would be coming up on people's windshield would be that water being moved by the Michelins, as you rightly said, a bathtub a minute when these guys are going around at full speed. But you do need your tires to last 35 more minutes, and with no more water falling, it means that the track is only going to get drier as we go through the race. So Gresham, a very savvy driver. He's won this championship twice, let's not forget. He knows how to get it done. And as I mentioned in yesterday's race, Gresham is here to do one thing only: win. Yesterday he finished third. He wants the victory today, and yes, it was a team car that won, so he'll be pleased with that. but Gresham doesn't have anything to lose. And to be honest, that's
No.
put fear into the heart of the other 31 competitors out on track with him.
He's looking for standing water, never mind just the wetter stuff. I will say, however, that the track surface is still 72 Fahrenheit. That is, if we do the conversion, that's 22 Celsius. Now, all right, that's not steaming hot. Sometimes we see it twice that. But that by no means is cold. We've seen it down into the low teens in Celsius and down into the 50s in Fahrenheit. These are softer tyre compounds because they have to deal with moving the water. And so that's why you've got to take care. Now, I think the safety car lights are out, and it looks to me as though we'll be coming back to green this time around. Yes, we will. Meantime, race control has determined that the incident right at the start of the race, turn 8 and 1, both reviewed, no further action. So let's get back to green flag racing, and the top three jump away from the rest of the field. It was a good restart from Gresham Wagner. It wasn't a great one. He's gone wide. Down the inside, the third place car, Elio Mazda. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. The rookie on a twofer at turn 1 in the wet. My goodness me. The blue car goes to the lead for BSI. And Elio Mazda, who was absolutely on it yesterday with some elbows out maneuvers, a bit of hip and shoulder when required, but that was racecraft. Through turn 1, watch the experience of Gresham Wagner and Tyler Gonzalez tiptoeing on the outside line, which is the preferred line in the wet. He said, I'm going for the inside. I'm going to take the traditional line. He did that, and he took the lead, and he's driving away, Shay.
Elio Mazda, who set the fastest lap in yesterday's race, brought the car home in second position. His first ever podium was just one spot off the top step. He's been doing a lot of racing and a lot of winning in NASCAR Mexico. Elio Mazda bringing those skills to Mid-Ohio and proving that he belongs in the winner's circle in Mazda. But Elio, 32.5 minutes to go. Make sure you keep some life in those tires.
Yeah, absolutely right. He skipped away to a 5 or 6 car lead, but that is not going to last here as the rest of the field, and there's a lot of experience in that top 10, are beginning to get their tyres up to temperature and pressure. I just wonder if by cooling them down, and we saw that with Gresham Wagner and Tyler Gonzalez, and to a certain extent Glenn McGee a bit further back, if they maybe were just a little bit too cool through the carousel then, onto the start-finish straight, and they'll come back to the line. Elio Mazda will be scored as the leader. He goes through with the fastest lap of the race. Tyler Gonzalez right back with him. He does the underneath move at turn 1. He saw Mazda do it last time around. He had first-hand experience of that, and he found the grip, a little bit of a tail slide as he came off the centre of the corner, and they'll go side by side up towards the keyhole with Gresham Wagner in third. Nathan Nicholson's worked his way back to fourth. Ethan Goulard in fifth. Another one of the rookies first and fifth at the moment. Nate Cicero. Two very different lines from the leaders as they go around the keyhole. Do you take the shorter on the inside where there might be less grip? Do you go around the outside and kind of ride the berm of grip? They didn't change position as they go through. Tyler Gonzalez still has the top position, and here comes Gresham Wagner to join the party.
Other Shea Holbrook must be on the radio going, guys, work together, just drive off, stay line astern. That will stop Gresham Wagner for coming back and joining this party. And when Gresham arrives, as he now has, he'll draw in Nathan Nicholson very quickly, and Ethan Goulard, who is right there too. Ethan having gotten around Nicholson. Great recovery from Ethan. Only Sato Motorsport car this weekend for Ethan Goulart, and he's been driving very well with anyone he can find around him. He's been really meshing. It's good to see Ethan so far up. Another one of our rookies.
As you were saying that, come on, work together, guys, work, which is the team owner, I'm sure Shea would have been saying, the other Shea Holbrook. I was just about to say, too late, he's there. He's right with them. And down the inside, again, two different lines being traced around the carousel. The penultimate corner, that long 180-degree right-hander leads into the little left kink onto the start-finish line, but Elio Mazda holds on to it, and we've got a full course yellow, our second. And this, unfortunately, I'm afraid to say, is for one of the bright red cars. It's Ashlyn Speed, who moved up from 32nd to 25th position before she went off just over the brow at turn 9. She's facing the wrong direction. We've got one of the safety vehicles there already. Remember, I talked about how difficult it is coming over the top there because the camber does not help you as you crest the brow. What a shame. Now, let's see if we can work out what happened. Oh, she was facing entirely the wrong way and came into that right-hand corner as if she cut straight across the grass from the previous turn. And that may have started, I think it did start, to be honest, Shay. I think that started a little bit earlier than that number 31, that bright red number 31 of Ashlyn Speed, ending up in the gravel as it was.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, John. Ashlyn, not with very much car experience as far as racing is concerned, let alone driving in the rain. They did do a test here, did Hendricks Motorsport. They did have some rain running. They were able to get Ashlyn comfortable in the car in the wet and the dry, but still, it's been a difficult weekend for her, and I'm really gutted to see it end in that manner as it has. It's not weekend over. She will still continue, but she was running well, and she and Heather Hadley were actually both well up in position to fight it out for the best finishing woman, which in this race series comes with a $2,000 check, real cash money at the end of every race. So that would have been a really good confidence boost for Ashlyn, and I'm really sorry to see it end as it has, with that possibility just disappearing.
Drop off the lead lap now as the field has just gone through. As I say, she moved up, I think, 9, possibly 10 positions, actually. And before that incident, looked like it started maybe a corner further back. Great work again by track services and our rescue crews and recovery crews who have been working really hard. Justin Adeconis into the pit lane, and he was running well. This is the number 23, Michelin Racing, the black, blue and white car, and they are going to work. Right front puncture, I think, on that car, Shay.
He's got some bodywork damage. When we went to our second safety car, there was damage to the front of that car that I noticed. It hadn't been there before we went green, so it wasn't something that he sustained on the pace car laps, if you will. But for Justin Adeconis, they want to make sure that that bodywork is not going to rub on a new tire, and they do have another wet weather Michelin tire prepared to go on the car. Now, we did see in the first race of the championship this year a car come in when the track was drying out at Daytona, put dry weather tires on the car. It did not recover to its previous position, so I don't think we're going to see anyone try and roll the dice and make that call again. As Ashlyn Speed, having come in, Hendricks Motorsport checked out the car, they sent her back out. Justin Adeconis is almost ready to go back out. They did not change his front right Michelin, they just put some Bondo tape on the front of that car, and thankfully it's white, so it doesn't mess up the livery.
37 seconds on pit lane for Ashlyn Speed, so it was just a quick look at that car to make sure it was all pointing in the right direction. Justin Adeconis hasn't got a lot of time left if he's going to get out and not lose a lap at the front of the field. We still have Tyler Gonzalez and Elio Meza and Gresham Wagner. Another good run by Elio Meza, who is right underneath the rear bumper of the red and white Tyler Gonzalez BSI Racing team, and Gresham Wagner similarly right there as well. Everybody closing up. Another white car, Ethan Goulart and Nathan Nicholson in the black and yellow car, then Nate Cicero in 6th position. These are all drivers who know how to race. I was thoroughly impressed by Elio Meza's racecraft yesterday, and he's shown again today that he is not frightened to mix it with the more experienced drivers around him in this series, at least. He's got plenty of driving experiences. Shay chronicled earlier on. Nice clean restart so far as the back of the field comes through the first corner. Already the leaders are spreading out 1, 2, 2.5, 3 wide, coming in to the keyhole down the inside for the lighter coloured car. Gresham Wagner with the red stripes on the front wings on that car has eased his way through into second. Has he? I think he has. But going off onto the grass for a moment, Ethan Goulart, but gets that one back. And Nathan Nicholson coming through as well. My goodness me, that was very tight indeed, and all this is very good news for Tyler Gonzalez as Nicholson comes down the outside. There's no way he's getting that stuff. He's going to be flirting with the edge of the circuit at turn 4, but somehow he stays on the slippery tarmac and does not go onto the grass. I have no clue how he did that. He's bending the laws of physics. Gonzalez pulling away, everyone else fighting for second.
Nathan, buddy, as soon as you get out of the car, I want you to go buy a lotto ticket, because clearly he has luck on his side as the car is still wiggling as he's going through every portion of the track, still on unconventional lines, looking for more moisture for those wet weather Michelins. And Ethan Goulart, I love you. I know you're a student of the sport. Michelin make great road racing tires. We have Goodrich that are the good off-road tires. It's a different arm of the family, so please keep it on the pavement. Oh my goodness, our top 10 are the who's who of this championship, and everyone right now is fighting over the possibility of leading laps, because as Tyler Gonzalez knows, when you lead laps, you get bonus points for the most laps led, and bonus points equivocate to championships at the end of the season, which also means a very big check from Mazda.
Now McGee going down the inside at the first corner. I think he got by Jeremy Fletcher there in the number 22, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide as people are taking to. There is actually a rallycross circuit that runs just on the outside of turn 1. I'm not sure we're supposed to be using that today, but a few drivers were spreading mud across the hard standing of the track there. Brilliant news for BSI.
Well, a huge spin from Bobby Gossett coming out of turn 1. Yeah. I think he got help from Ethan Goulart, and yes, the two of them had contact. Goulart was the one who took to the grass. Bobby Gossett got it pointed back in the right direction, and about 20 cars had to split Gossett at the last second. Miracle that nobody hit him.
I'm really heads-up driving. As soon as he got the car back under control, he pulled it to the side of the track in case anybody else was coming through and unsighted. Tyler Gonzalez has been caught at the front of the field. That's not a headline in Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup. Anybody who is out on their own, as we've got a car paused in the middle of the track, that's a ways round the circuit. In fact, no, that is on the motorcycle cutout going up the hill, Shay.
That is Bobby Gossett. So he got the car pointed back in the right direction and was able to continue around briefly. Maybe he's got a tire down, or maybe it is something bigger, or maybe he's like me and his pulse is racing off the chart from that spin and he needs a moment to collect himself.
Well, did he pull over to that side of the track because he knew he had a problem? If so, heads up driving. He's off the racing surface there on that infield chicane. Maybe we can keep racing here. Jeremy Fletcher's just put the fastest lap of the race in, a 48.5. That's pretty impressive in these conditions. Tyler Gonzalez still leads with the Rafa Racing team by MMR Gresham Wagner in second place. Sorry, Gresham. He's going for first position. Tries to go around the outside in that red, white and black Rafa car. He's got his nose in front. Can he get the power down? He can. All 180 horsepower from that 4-cylinder, 2-litre, normally aspirated engine, 6-speed sequential Sadev gearbox, driving the powers to the back wheels. And here comes Nate Cicero right in there, as well as almost 3 wide again, coming down to turn 4. And at the moment, Nathan Nicholson braking a little bit earlier this time, taking a watching brief. They've got a little bit of a lead ahead of Jared Thomas, who's in 5th. The very distinctive red and white chevrons on that car. He leads a 2-car team, which is Jeremy Fletcher in the blue number 22 behind him, then Ethan Goulart, then Elio Meza in the battle for the rookie championship in 7th and 8th. They're coming back together. It's going to be a 6-car scrap at the front of the field. Half distance.
This is a definite redemption drive today for Nate Cicero, who was running around battling for the lead yesterday. Electrical gremlin, the 2 least favorite words in motorsport, struck and pulled him out of the race. He was able to get back out of the pits to another lap as the full course caution is now out. I'm hearing it is to retrieve the car of Bobby Gossett. I believe he got out of his car, which is what triggered this. That would be the reason. Otherwise, they would have just left him there. He would have had a great view for the remainder of the race. But it was unfortunate for Cicero that he was robbed of a potential victory from his pole position yesterday. The other car, which had a very strange moment, was that of Weston Workman. Oh, is Gossett actually moving? He did not get out of the car. He has now rejoined, but the full course caution is out, and the safety car has scrambled. Weston Workman in the number 13 for BSI. Remember yesterday in the race, Johnny, just sort of strangely pulled over at the pit exit, did a hard turn to keep the race green. He had an axle break on him, so the team was able to fix it, put everything right, and the car is back out for today's race with the Chin Track Days on the side. Go to freetrackday.com to enter and win your free track day. John, I'm sure that you went to the website last night. I definitely did. And let's see if maybe we can make something happen from that.
Yeah, I'm tapping it in now using every version of my name, people that I know. I'm signing everybody up as I can. I don't think Bobby Gossett has even lost the lead lap here. When he comes round, he will be back on the end of the train.
He will be.
Let me have a look. No, because he hasn't completed that lap yet. Shea, so he should come back around.
I'm showing
Amazing,
he has had 10 laps completed right now, and the leaders are on 12. So
yes,
when he comes back around, it will be.
Excuse me, I was looking
11.
at Justin Adekonis, his teammate.
All good.
Yes. Yeah.
Some damage
now,
to the side of Grant West's car.
Yeah, Grant in the 50 Spark Performance car. That is, I don't think that's anything that is A, structural, or B, performance enhancing. It looks like it's the sill cover on the driver's side, the left-hand side. The problem is, and he's trying to shake it off at the moment because he does not want to get a black and orange flag from race control called the meatball flag. Basically, it means you've got a mechanical issue. That would be a big bit of debris left out on the track. They don't want that. He would have to come in immediately and have that sorted. Whelen Mazda safety car off into the pit lane again. And over to you once again. Our leader, Tyler Gonzalez for BSI Racing, goes at the exit of the carousel. Pulls 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5 car lengths across the line as we go back to the green flag with 17.5 minutes to go. But he's just having trouble turning into that first corner. He just seems to be a little bit tentative there. And Gresham Wagner's closed right back up to him, got a much better exit from turn 1. There might have to be a bit of defence by the leader here in that red car. Few drivers diving into the pits, including Grant West. Grant West came in to have that bodywork pulled off. Also coming in was Bobby Gossett. I think as well, yes it was, he was in and out in the black number 44. Lead stayed the same, no change. It is Tyler Gonzalez, Gresham Wagner, but Nathan Nicholson sneaked up again. He is the king of the stealthy move, is Nathan Nicholson, with when you consider he's got a bright yellow and black car. It's pretty difficult to do, and he's going to push his way up to the second place here as they go around through turn 4. He's on the high line over the top of the brow, but he'll get the right-hander at the bottom of the hill, and I don't think Gresham Wagner is going to be able to hold him back. He's toughing it out on the outside. Oh, Wagner, brilliant stuff, and actually gets a run on the leader by doing that. Top 4, Gonzalez, Wagner, Cicero, Nicholson, and add Jared Thomas into that as well. They're having a great scrap, and who's that's gone wide? That, I think, was Nate Cicero, who was on the grass for a moment. It was Gresham, was it? Gresham Wagner who was wide.
Gresham, who had taken the lead when they got to turn 9, all of a sudden it looked like he had outbroken himself a little bit too much. He slowed down, and Tyler Gonzalez went back to the front of this race. Although it looks like Gonzalez has just pulled the trunk latch button. I know that's not what he's done on his Mazda. And the hood is up just a tiny little bit. What that actually would have been a result of is giving somebody a bit of a kiss on the rear bumper of their car. And maybe it was a bit too aggressive of a kiss, and it just knocked the hood up a tiny little bit. But Wagner dropped back to 5th as they crossed the finish line. That is not good news for MMR. Gossett was in the pits. They put the hood up. They looked at the car. They sent him back out. Very reminiscent of what happened to Cicero yesterday. I'm having flashbacks of that. And for Grant West, he stopped aggressively in his box. The sill flung up to the front. A crew member just stomped on it, and he is back out on the track.
And race control looking at the incident surrounding Bobby Gossett, ending up in that cutout on the tarmac on the infield. Ethan Goulard, the number 29 car for Saito Motorsport, the Singleton Saito entry this weekend, the other car involved in that. Nathan Nicholson stealthily moves his way into the lead of the race. Now, over the top of the brow again, and diving down. I think he's got that one done. And following him through is Tyler Gonzalez, who had been leading for a moment or two. My goodness me. These drivers, Shea Adam, are putting it right on the line now as we come into the last third of the race. 14.5 minutes to go here at Mid-Ohio.
At the risk of giving Nathan Nicholson yet another nickname, I think we're going to have to call him the Ninja. He's been doing this so stealthily as Ethan Goulart up to second, and it is Tyler Gonzalez now fighting to try and get back up to the second position, but now his mirrors are full of two-time champion Jared Thomas, whose mirrors are full of two-time champion Gresham Wagner. The group is all together again. It's only Ninja Nate who is out front in his lonely little Splendor, which he's grateful for, but that won't last.
Fastest lap of the race so far by the blue 22, the light blue car, 1:48.507. Jeremy Fletcher would have the bonus points for that at the moment. He's sitting down in 6th position, but bear in mind 6th position is barely 2 seconds away from the leader, and the leader has 1.2 seconds, or did have 1.2 seconds across the line. But as soon as that battle pack behind stops fighting, that lead starts to shrink. Open top cars, big non-aerodynamic piece of metal in the airfloor is the FIA safety cage, and we would want it no other way, because the draft is strong with these cars, even though they don't get up to super high speeds quick enough when you're sitting so low in these little quality sports cars. This is the ND version, the 4th iteration of Mazda's MX-5, which is 35 years old, and my goodness me, the original concept has not been watered down, pardon the pun, on a day like this. One iota. Drove one of the latest cars recently in the UK and had an absolute ball. Beautiful spring day, top down, country roads, could hear the birds singing, dry tarmac, and that little 2-litre, 180 horsepower, 6-speed manual, 3-pedal car, the proper way for sports cars to be. Real racing, pure racing, Mazda MX-5 Cup racing. Shea Adam and John Hindhaugh with the action for you from Mid-Ohio. Just coming down to a dozen minutes to go, and Nicholson has pulled the pin here, and the battle for second is between a couple of cars, as we've just had an off for the 09 further back down the field. That's Damon Oakey for BSI Racing, but the real interest, Shea, is in this battle for second position, because while these guys are battling, and it's Ethan Goulart and Tyler Gonzalez, I think Jared Thomas might have to take control here, because they are losing touch, and it did look as though Damon, by the way, just understeered off on his own. At the moment, Nathan Nicholson needs to put some good laps in, because he has got a bit of a gap between himself and the rest of the field.
And something that's very rare is diversity in this championship. There are no 2 cars from the same team up within the top 5. We've got Nathan Nicholson for Advanced, then Ethan Goulart for Sato. JTR is represented by JT. We've got Tyler Gonzalez for BSI, and then Rafa, which has an alliance with MMR in Gresham Wagner, and then we have our first proper MMR car in Jeremy Fletcher. So it's rare that we have so many cars from so many different organizations, because normally you need somebody you know to work with to get to the front. Well, right now Nathan Nicholson is saying see ya, and Ethan Goulart is very happy, as I mentioned previously in the weekend, to work with anyone around him. Well, he's looking at Jared Thomas in his rearview mirror going, come on buddy, be my best friend, let's go get to the front, and then I promise not to push you off until we get to the checkered flag.
Yeah, only on the last lap is where the elbows start to come out. Nate Cicero in 7th position behind that blue McCumbee Michelin Racing team car of Jeremy Fletcher, is bringing Elio Mesa and Weston Workman, 2 BSI cars, and only 3 out of the top 10, make that the top 11 last time around, did not put their fastest lap of the race in. So things are getting better, or at least the heat is being turned up as there's more side-by-side action going to the keyhole for second place. Jared Thomas in the white car with the red chevrons goes through into second. I thought he might want to take control here. We've seen him do this before, where he's worked his way through to the front of a group and basically said, guys, if we do not work together, then the leader is going to drive away from us. Wasn't it Jared who brought that brilliant peloton-style group of cars back at Sebring when we had that kerfuffle earlier on? Well, he's trying to do the same again, and there's a spin down at turn 4. Oh my goodness me, there could be such a bigger accident there as the BSI red and white car of Tyler Gonzalez is in the dirt and in China Beach. I don't think he's driving out of there, and this could well bring another appearance of the safety car. So if you're going to make a pass, make it right now, Shea.
Full course caution is out, so the opportunity is gone. But for Jared Thomas, it was Gresham Wagner who brought the peloton back a few years back at Sebring that you were talking about. But yeah, the example has been set, and Jared definitely would have known that. Now, let's try and find out what happened to Tyler Gonzalez, because he is not somebody who often makes a mistake. Winner of 4 races so far this year, got on the outside going into turn 4. He had help. I think that was Gresham Wagner, actually, who just gave him a slight tap on the rear of the car, which pivoted him off in the wrong direction. Prior to yesterday's race, we had only had 2 race winners in the series for this season. One of them was Tyler Gonzalez, who just wound up in the beach in China Beach. The other was Jared Thomas, who ended up in China Beach at the end of yesterday's race. So clearly that section of the track has something against the guys who are doing well in the championship this year.
Von Mishko also went off at the first corner, but has resumed. So it looks like a clean move down the inside ahead of this battle, but watch the white car with the red on it. It's the slightest of touches, if it is a touch, but it just goes to show how close to the ragged edge of adhesion these cars are. And we've also had an issue for another car which is moving slowly at the moment. That's Ethan Tyler. In fact, he's brought that car into the pits in the number 80, the BSI racing car. That had some bodywork catching one of the Michelin wet weather tyres. That was smoking, and that's again the BSI mechanics going to work. Now that was the car that had the problem with the right front earlier on, and that racer tape maybe not quite having done its job. They're now going to have to. Oh no, that was out of Connors. So that's almost exactly the same damage, yeah.
Yeah, very, very strange incident out there. And remember, Ethan Tyler wound up in the barrier yesterday. That was the left side of the car that ended up against the guardrail in turn 12, though. So for Ethan Tyler, it's been a very difficult weekend. And speaking of difficult, I do not envy the job that Race Control has ahead of them, because I don't know who was at fault there. If it was Gresham turning in and moving Tyler Gonzalez, or if it was Tyler turning down across the nose at Gresham Wagner, that's going to be very difficult for Race Control to try and figure out. Now, the 57 is out of the gravel. It is Tyler Gonzalez. He's back on the track. He has lost a lap. Yes, he is shown as 17 completed. And the field is coming around to complete 18, so that will be an issue for Tyler. He's not going to win another race today, but he is going to be angry and going to want to do whatever he can now to help his BSI teammates claim victory over any other team.
Yeah, just dived through out, but not quick enough. Ethan Tyler has got out and is on the very, very tail end of the lead lap. And that number 80 car for BSI Racing, so he can get round onto the back. How's our time looking, I hear you ask, because we're on lap number 20. That doesn't matter. It is the fact that we have 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Unsurprisingly, a pit lane caller for Tyler Gonzalez for BSI.
Well, at least he led the points coming into today's race, because he's not going to lead them at the end of it. That's the bad news for Tyler Gonzalez.
Looks like the right rear tyre. A lot of dirt on that car. They're having a look underneath. They've actually sent the Michelin tyre away in its mud, where he's gone sideways through before he got to the China Beach, when he was on the grass sideways. And he's Morrow Fish down in the pit lane, our intrepid cameraman, giving us literally the mechanic's eye view of what is going on as they're shaking the right rear wheel and tyre to make sure that there's no suspension or tie rod damage. Now the same with the front.
Not that it's going to help Tyler right now, but I do have good news for him. I think he's led more laps than anyone else over the course of this race because he's got 8 under his belt, and Nicholson only has 5 with 4.5 minutes to go under yellow. That's not going to be able to be beaten, so Tyler at least will get 10 more bonus points. The bad news is he's going to walk away with 20 points from today's race.
I've got to go. If I'm going to go, I've got to go. Actually had the car on the handbrake in the pit lane there, on the parking brake. So I'm quite shocked about now. He's heading back into the paddock. That car, he's had enough. He didn't want to sit out in the rain any longer, or the damp and the cold at least. We will go green for 3.5 minutes or thereabouts. We'll get a couple of laps as we cross the timing line, and it is Nathan Nicholson who leads for Advanced Autosport. In the second place, Ethan Goulart, another rookie right up there. Can we have 2 days with 2 rookies on the overall podium? Jared Thomas biding his time? No. Pulls out to the left-hand side. Tries to get a little bit of a clear run up to the inside to the keyhole. And that's where the rookie's gone. He's got alongside. They're side by side. And Goulart gets the power. Does he get the grip? They're still side by side. Nicholson on the outside. Drivers left as they come to the kink. Slightly favours the man on the right-hand side. They're still side by side. Behind them, the red and white is Jared Thomas trying to pick a side. Who am I going to help? Which side should I go to? He's picked the right-hand side. And that has helped, I think, Goulart get into the lead. Yes, it has. But now they've all got to get it stopped. They're 3 across the track as they go through turn 4. And this time, Jared Thomas can't make it through, and here comes Nicholson again. Down to 3rd for a moment as they run down into turn 4, but now trying the outside manoeuvre as they come through turn 6 into 7. He'll go back to the lead. Incredible racing from Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, and these Michelin tyres in the most difficult condition, and that has claimed another victim as they went into turn 9.
That's Gresham Wagner off into the gravel. He's keeping the wheels spinning, though, and he's managing to keep it going. At the front of the field, Nathan Nicholson and Ethan Goulart are both in search of their first ever victories in this series, but there is history between Nathan Nicholson and Jared Thomas, so if it comes down to those two, watch for some elbows getting out as Gresham Wagner managed to rejoin the track. We stay green. 2 minutes to go in this race means that we should get 2 more laps. Woohoo!
2 more laps. Absolutely spot on. Keeping an eye out for the white flag. It did not come. 148.3 for Nathan Nicholson. The track conditions are improving. They're not good. They're not even all right at the moment. They are challenging. But Nicholson with a 148.342 is half a second quicker than anybody else on that last lap around. But he hasn't been able to pull out on the rest of the field, which is led by Ethan Goulart. Rookie again, punching above his weight. I've said this before, but it used to be the rookies would come in, they'd have a bit of a learning season, or maybe a learning half season, 3/4 of a season, and then start pushing at the end of the year. These rookies are coming in at such a high standard from other forms of racing and from other forms of MX-5 and Miata racing, as through into second, using the experience. Jared Thomas just eases Goulart to one side and now sets off after that yellow and black car coming up to the tricky turn 9 again. It's 2 wide behind as Jeremy Fletcher, who was, where was he? 9th, 8th? The last time I talked about him, he did have the fastest lap in that light blue number 22, but he's right there. Ned Cicero is fighting back as well. As they come to the white flag shade, there's still, I think, 6 or 7 drivers here who are in with a shout of a podium or possibly better.
Yeah, I mean, anyone within the top 10 right now stands a chance. All the way back down to Glenn McGee, that top 8 is running around knowing that victory is possible. This is what we come to these races for, because you never know who's going to win the race. Nathan Nicholson sees the white flag, but the next time around, it could be someone completely different seeing the checkered.
Jared Thomas steals away the points for the fastest lap on the penultimate lap. Wouldn't put money against anybody getting their fastest lap and the fastest lap on this final circuit. There are two Mazdas heading up to the keyhole. We could only see one for a moment until the red and white Jared Thomas JTR car pulled out to his left-hand side. He's trying to square off the corner, get on the power earlier. Drag up to the back of Nathan Nicholson. Danger area at the bottom of the hill at turn number 4. Jared goes early and goes to the high side. He'll have to go Buffalo Gals round the outside. He's ahead. He's 3/4 of a car ahead, but Nicholson's going to be last of the late breakers, and Goulard makes it 3 across the track. Surely this is going to end in tears for one other or all of these, and in fact it's Jared Thomas who is left out to dry. How bizarre is that, seeing that on these conditions? And he goes down from the lead down to 6th place there, and through comes Goulard. Nice Cicero in there as well, touches Nate Nicholson. Incredible reactions by the Ninja in 2nd place. Ninja in stealth and Ninja in reactions as well for Nate Nicholson as he holds on somehow to 2nd place. The car was at 45 degrees there, Shea.
And once again, we've got Ethan Goulart leading as they come through the track for the last time of asking, but Nate Nicholson is not done yet. He sees a first potential win, and all of a sudden Fletcher's into 3rd. We had contact there between Weston Workman and Elio Meza as everybody is trying to find the right line around the track. Is there a right line?
Down to the last left-handed kink and to the line, and it is Goulart who takes it by just on 1/10 of a second. Nathan Nicholson was so close. Rookie 2nd yesterday. Rookie on the top step of the overall box today. Saito Motorsport Group just brought the one car. The one car was enough to win the race. Ethan Goulart then from Nathan Nicholson from Advance Autosport, and 3 different teams on the podium with Jeremy Fletcher in that light blue number 22 from Macumbi Racing. Played a very strategic game. We knew he had a fast car because he had the fastest lap of the race at one point of the race. Who had the fastest lap of the race? Well, we've got to go down the standings a little bit because Bobby Gossett in the number 44 for Macumbi Racing, who was off the track at one stage, put in a 1:48.1 on the penultimate lap and will take the points for that. You don't have to be in the top 10 here for the points to be awarded. The move of the race and the move that won the race. Down to turn number 4, 3 across the track. Ethan Goulart belying his rookie status. That was a veteran move, that was a winning move, and he will stand atop the podium for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Best of the rookies, of course, he was the next rookie. We've got to go down to Elio Meza, who was the best rookie yesterday, 2nd yesterday, 8th today, and Jesse Love in 13th was 3rd. Looks to me, was it Sally who was best of the females? Yes, she was, in 14th position. And Shea Adam has done the quick arithmetic for the overall championship.
It has swung once again, but the guy who came into this weekend 3rd in championship points, Ninja Nate Nicholson, has taken over the championship lead 10 points ahead of Jeremy Fletcher, wow. 2,070 to 2,060. In 3rd, it's now Jared Thomas on 1940, and today's points leader coming into the race drops back to 4th for Tyler Gonzalez after thank you to my spies in the pit lane who said it was broken suspension on the right rear for Gonzalez.
Mazda unofficial results. We'll need to get all the cars through post-race tech. It's Ethan Goulart, Nathan Nicholson, Jeremy Fletcher we mentioned. Nate Cicero comes home with a good haul of points. Weston Workman made up positions in that dash for the flag from Jared Thomas, Glenn McGee, Elio Meza, Woody Hyman and Alex Pashura. Quiet race for Alex, but ends up in the top 10. Bryce Conner, Parker DeLong, Jesse Love, Sally Mott, Heather Hadley, Peter Atwater, Steve Webber. Grant West was much higher up than the 18th he finished. He must have had some drama later on, as was Vaughn Mishko, who qualified well, finishes in 19th. 20th position for Cody Powell. Then Noah Harmon, Farhan Siddiqui got to the end, as did Damon Oki, Christopher Haldeman, Christian Hodderland, Ethan Tyler, Justin Adeconis, Ashland Speed, all in trouble, but got to the checkered flag. The last 2 a lap off the off the lead lap. Goulart has been an SCCA champion, and SCCA have a huge history here at this circuit, and he will stand on the top step of the podium with Bibendum. What a fantastic move. That was a move good enough to win any race, and to do that for your first ever, that would be just the icing on the cake. He looks happy, he should do. It was a great one. Shay Adam was alongside me, John Hindorf. A big thanks to our camera operators, please. Give them a round of applause wherever you are. They've been in the worst of the weather. Keith D'Alessandro and the rest of the team up in Concord have been keeping Shay and I right, and we'll be back for the rest of the season. The Michelin tyres did their job today in the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup. We'll see you next time at the track. Bye-bye.